Good afternoon, y'all. I hope everything is centered because this is my first tutorial, and today we're going to be working on the fitted hat, the crochet fitted hat. So everybody loves the crochet fitted hats, and I wanted to show you all how I made the first hat that I made. Okay, so let's jump right into the materials. This is just a regular hat, $49.50 hat from Lids. It's Pittsburgh hat, of course, because I'm from Pittsburgh, PA. Go Steelers. And yeah, so you could use whatever fitted hat that you would like to use. I'm choosing the snapback, so we'll be stopping here where the snap is actually, so you'll be able to still, you know, unsnap it and snap it back however you want. In case people have locks, you know what I mean, they prefer using snapbacks or anything like that. But yeah, so let's get into what you'll need. All right, so you'll need two crochet hooks. I'm using the 5mm hook, and I'm also using the 4.5mm hook. And we'll be using, you'll need a pair of scissors. And also, I just use regular, I love this yarn. Nothing spectacular. It's acrylic, 100% acrylic, number 4 warted wasted yarn. It's the color burgundy. It's the closest that I can get to the hat, which I think it's very close myself. But yeah, so it really doesn't matter. You can use whatever brand you like. This is just the brand that I like because it's very soft. This one's a little bit fuzzier than I would like, but it's still a good yarn. I really like it. So there's that, and then you'll need clips. So whenever, well, I'll show you when we get to that part, you know, what we'll be using the clips for, so we'll be able to, you know, hold our hat down. All right, and also you'll need a yarning needle. Now that one I lost, but let me get one. So this is my little yarn needle container. So it looks something like this with, you know, a little hole on this and a bigger hole than normal, than like a sewing needle. So there's that. So you'll need that. All right, so let's jump right into it. So I like to pull the yarn from the middle because, and I wrapped this a while ago. So, and then you'll be starting out using your 4.5mm hook. And then, I mean, if you don't know how to do any of these stitches, I suggest that you go look at another YouTube tutorial so that you're able to, you know, figure out how to do the stitches that we'll be using. We'll be using double crochet stitches, and we'll be using the magic circle. So how I like to make a magic circle is I just put it between my pinky finger and wrap it around in an X. So it kind of looks like this on this side of your hand. And then I'll take my needle and go like this and twist it and then pull it up and go through. So I'll do that one more time so that if you didn't catch it, you'll be able to see how a magic circle is done. Okay, so I put it between my pinky and then I wrap it around my 4 fingers and then turn it into an X like that. And then you'll take it and you can put your middle finger down so that you're able to go in, grab the yarn, pull it, and then just twist and then pull that through. Oh, messed up there, but let's do that one more time. So boom, 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 pull it through, that twist, and then pull this up and through. That makes a circle. So this is your magic circle. This is what it should look like. See, I'll show you here. It normally always gets like, when you finish it, it always gets caught in here. So I just like pull it out like that. And then I make sure that when I'm starting my double crochets or my single crochet, whatever crochet stitch that I'm using, I make sure that I include it inside so that way it wraps around as well. And I'll show you what I mean. And then you'll want to chain 2. So 1, 2. So it'll look like that. And then just put 10 double crochets into this circle. So that's 1, 2. Now I'll probably speed this up so the video doesn't be that long, but that's 10 crochets, including the first chain that we made. So that'll just be 11 crochets all together. So let's get started. That's 2. This is 3. Oh. Two, three, 4. 6. Okay, so when you have your 10 crochets, including your first chain, which doesn't count as a stitch, then you'll pull this tight so we can wrap around the top of our hat. So this is where you'll see the rest of it and where you'll see what you need on this hat. Now, I hate to push the hat down to try to pull this around it to make sure it's tight, but I kind of go like this and hold it. Like, I'll hold it like this, and then we'll pull the string tight like that. It's kind of hard to do, but see, and then tighten that like that. So we'll be working in rounds all the way down without the hat until we get to about here, and then I'll show you how to do that because we'll be working in creases. All right. So you'll just close, do not close this circle, do not. So you'll just close this up around it into your first stitch. Chain to into your first chain. Hold up, because that doesn't count as a stitch, so bang. All right, so you see you got this opening here. That's for the top of your hat. Chain to, because we're working the second round now. All right, sorry about that, y'all. I was using my other phone and the storage was going. Okay, so where we left off at, we're doing an increase. We left the hole in the middle, remember? So we'll be just working 2 double crochets in each stitch all the way around. And like I said before, if you do not know how to do a double crochet stitch, I just would suggest that before you try this tutorial that you go and learn how to double crochet in another YouTube tutorial. I do not have one, I apologize. So we're working 2. I'll probably speed this video up, so I will see y'all at the end of the round. Okay. In the second round. So just slip stitch like that. So this is what it should look like, and we should still have this circle right here in the middle. Okay. Well, actually, it's right here. Kind of looks like it. Oh yeah, it's right here. Okay. So there's that. And again, throughout, you may just want to check your hat to make sure that it's still open enough for you. And it takes some getting used to. It's quite difficult to do a little bit because you're like trying to figure out if it's still large enough to fit around your hat. Here, let me take this off. To fit around your hat, and it's like a pain in the butt. But you get used to it. You'll be done smushed your hat up and all that type stuff. But there's that. So you see it's fitting around. And then you could just tighten it if you want, like around there. But I just let it go because I'm still going to be working with the hat. So there's that. And don't be, like I said, this right here annoys me. But once you tighten it up, you won't see any of this. I know you guys can see that right here. Like it looks like a space. But this is your actual circle. And because of this space, it makes it like there's a gap in between these stitches as well. But it's really not. So once you tighten it, it'll all come together. So trust me. Okay, so we're doing the third round. Again, we're still working our increases, so just chain 2, and then this time we're doing 1 double crochet in one, and then 2 double crochets in the next. So this is still working your increase. 1 double crochet and 2 double crochets in the next stitch. So just do that all the way around, and then I'll catch you guys at the end of the round, still working, or that's 1 double crochet, or increase rounds. Okay. Okay, we are finished with round 3. So as you can see, if you don't know how to see, or you know, you can't really, like, once your stitches are in here, you can't tell which round you're on. It's easy to see because you can kind of see the indentations at each of your stitch. So 1, 2, 3, and they're all increase rounds. So we're working our way out. So just slip stitch into the top of the first chain, and we're working on round 4. Still working increases, but this time, 1, chain 2, you'll put 1 stitch in the very next stitch, you'll put 1 stitch in the very next stitch after that, and then you'll put 2 stitches. Still working our increase rounds to make sure that the hat, it feels all around the hat. Because if we were to just start just doing single double crochet stitches 1 stitch at a time, it'll bend your hat, and you're not ready for that yet. You want it to kind of look flat like this and work its way out. All right, so this is 1, 2 double crochet stitches in 1 stitch. So again, that's 1 double crochet stitch, I'm sorry. 1 double crochet stitch. That's a tongue twister. And 2 double crochet stitches. Okay, so again, I will be speeding this video up. So meet me at the end. Okay. Okay, now we're at the end of round 4. So just slip stitch into the top of the first chain of the row. Now, again, if you don't know if you're doing the rounds correctly, then the way you can know is if you end each round with a 2 crochet, then you're doing it right. Now, if you end with 1 and you don't have any more room left for a double crochet or 2 crochets in 1 stitch, then you're doing it wrong. You're probably doing it wrong. You should take it out and do it again. So now we're on the way to the 5th round. Now I should point out, as we're going along, you might want to just see where you're at, because I don't know how big your hat may be, but you want to always check out and see where you are at with it. So like I said, this is our circle. I'm not going to try to do all that right now, but you can see like how far you need to go around the circumference of the hat. So just be mindful of that, because you don't want to make it too big, but we're going to still work increase rounds, obviously, because, you know, you can see that we need them. So we're going to work them all the way down to here. All right, so put that to the side. I already did my chain 2 stitch. In round 5, we're going to work 1 double crochet in the first stitch. Well, yeah, another double crochet in the second stitch, another double crochet in the third stitch, and then this time we'll put the 2 double crochets in the fourth stitch. Now this is still working the increase round. So again, I'll do it again. So 1 double crochet, 1 double crochet, 1 double crochet, and then 2 double crochets into the next stitch. So we'll just keep working that all the way around, and I'll see you when we get to the end at our slip stitch. All right. All right, we're ending row 5. Again, slip stitch into the top of the chain. Chain 2. Now this time we are still working our increases, but like I said, double check, make sure that you are where you need to be. You know that you still need to increase because we have this much, we have a bunch of hat left under, you know, for the circumference of our hat. So let's get back to it. Now we're still working our increases, as I said. So this time, the last time we worked 1, 2, 3 stitches, and then 2 double crochet stitches in 1 stitch. So now we will be doing 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 double crochet stitches, and in the next stitch put 2 double crochets. Now this will be your increase for round 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This will be your increase for round 6. So we're on round 6. Hold it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Sorry, y'all. I lost count. So okay, so 1 double crochet stitch, 2 double crochet stitch, 3 into the next stitch, and then 4 into the next stitch, and then you'll do 2 double crochet stitches in that very next stitch. So I'll do it one more time so you can see it and follow along. 1, it's just like making a hat. If you've ever made a ruffle hat, if you're a crochet girly, we've all made ruffle hats. We've all made hats that we've had to build up. Bucket hats, ruffle hats, whatever hat you made, you've had to do increase rounds. So it's the same concept. So you'll just follow that around. So I have no idea where I'm at. So that's 1, 2, 3 double crochet into the next stitch, 4 double crochet into the stitch directly after. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 2 double crochets into the next stitch, and I'll meet you back at the beginning. Okay, y'all, so we're at the end of round 6. As you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and so this is what it should look like. Now I'm going to keep going with one more increase, but your hat may be bigger or smaller. So like I said, it all depends on the circumference of the top of your hat. That's very important to when you should know how to start bringing your hat down around. Start bringing your work down and around your hat. Mine looks to me like it still needs one more. So I'm going to go ahead and work it out with one more increase. But you can stop here. It's up to you. But I'm going to show you, if you also need another increase, I'm going to show you how to do that. So yeah, let's get started. So we'll just slip stitch into the top of the round of the first chain, and then chain 2 again. And then this time we worked 1, 2, 3, 4 singles, and then we put 2 in the next stitch. So this time we'll be working 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and then we'll do 2 in the next stitch, 2 double crochets in the next stitch. So I'll show you one more time, and then I'll meet you back at the first stitch, or the first chain. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we'll do 2 double crochets into that next stitch. Okay, y'all, I will meet y'all back at the first chain. All right. Okay, y'all, so I have slip stitched into the first chain of the round, and this is what you should have. If you had to reach out to for the increase for row 7, which I have had to do because my hat's a little bit larger. Actually, it's what size hat is this? I have no idea. But it's a snapback, so I think it's not. It's one size fits all. One size fits most. Okay. To fit the circumference of my hat, if you had to do that too, then I have showed you that. And this is how it should lay over your hat, because you don't want the hat to buckle up or any of that. And we're going to start working down on our hat. And as you see, eventually we're going to stop and then go back and forth, back and forth. Now, you don't want the hat to crumble up under it, like be like this, like, you know what I mean? Like up under your hat. So you need to give it enough space for your yarn. You know what I mean? So now I do believe it's time for me to start working my stitches to come down. And then once we get to this, then we'll stop and go back in the round. But I'll show you that once we get there. Okay, so moving on to the next. Now we're not working increases anymore, so we'll chain 2, 1, 2, and then from here on out, for as many rounds you need until you get to like this area of the hat. Like I said, keep measuring, keep making sure to see where you're at. Then we'll stop and then go back and forth. But I'll show y'all what I mean once I get there. All right, so we will be working a double crochet stitch in each stitch around. So just, you know, work up your hat as normal as you would. And what that will make your crochet hat do, because essentially we're making a crochet hat, is bend downward. So that way it'll start to cover your hat going down as well. So just do that. And all the way around, 1 double crochet in each stitch, just like this. And I'll meet you when we get to the first chain. Okay, so we are at row 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 8. And as you see, it's starting to buckle a little bit, bend. I got it bended up, but once you pull it, it'll bend down like that. And then just put it over your hat. You see how it's going down over the hat? Alright, so that's what you want it to do, is to go down over the hat. Now you see we're not quite at this area of the hat yet, but we are getting there. So it's probably another row of stitches. I'm gonna do all the way around, and then I'll start working the back and forth rows. Okay, so all All right, continue on as usual. Chain 2, and I'll meet you when we get back. Okay, so we're at the part of the hat where you should grab your stitch markers. If I didn't say this at the beginning of the video, I do apologize, but you need stitch markers. They look like this. They help you to mark where you're at once you have to go back and forth on the hat. I don't think I mentioned it at the beginning of the video, but they look like this. Or like this, but I prefer these ones here. And okay, y'all, so now we're at the part where we are working our rows to go back and forth. So I took it upon myself to already put my stitch markers in for where I wanted to go for the opening. Obviously, if you have a snapback, I mean, you may not want to close it, but leave it open, but I do. I want you to be able to adjust it. So if you want to close it like a regular fitted hat, then that's up to you. Or if you have a fitted hat, I would say just keep working the rounds around, you know what I mean, as normal. But if you have a snapback like I have, then you want to work the rounds back and forth. So I put a stitch marker where I will want to stop and start my rounds over again. So you can see, just kind of measure where you want it to go. I chose, you know, here because I could be able to pull it down like this once I get it, you know what I mean? And then we'll have stitches going down to here, to the end. All right, so let's get started. And I kind of use the clips to keep it in place, you know, and I'll just set this to the side. And if I haven't told you about the stitch markers from the beginning, I do apologize, because you need stitch markers to see where you will be stopping and starting at. And like I said, here, I just started a chain stitch here. Hold up, sorry about that. 1, 2, because that's where I'll be at. And then that's the beginning stitch. And then just turn your hat around and then work double crochets in the next stitch going down the hat. So that's it. And I'm not going to leave you all hanging. That one fell out, but that's okay because I know where I'm at. It's right there. I'm not going to speed the video up this time because I want you to see kind of how to do it, where we're going, as we're working our rows around. I just want to give you guys a pro tip. I'm not in no way professional, you know, I would think, but I'm pretty good. But anyway, I would consider this to be a pro tip, but just watch your tension when you're crocheting. We tend to tighten some stitches at times or whatever, or if you have a really loose hand, just keep your stitching consistent. You know, you don't want it to be all over the place. Some of your stitches be tight, some of them be loose, and it just it doesn't look favorable. You want it to be the same all the way around your hat. It just helps it look better. So actually I am going to speed this up because it's taking a little bit longer, but as we approach that area, then I will be back. Okay. All right. Okay, so we made it to the end. And then, like I said, we got our stitch marker here in the last stitch that, you know, we'll be making on this round. And then you'll just chain up 2 and then turn your work. So you see it'll be going down. You'll be working it down. And then you'll go back into that stitch with double crochet. And then you'll work back around, because as you see, we have this here. 1, that's chain 2. You'll go into the chain 2 so you can work your way down. Okay. And just do that until you have enough stitches to cover your hat all the way down the back. So you'll do that back and forth until you get here. So once that's done, meet me back here. All right, see y'all in a minute. Okay, y'all, so I have done 4 rows going down. So I'm on the last, I finished the last stitch of that row. So we're going to just measure it, excuse me. We're going to just measure our hat up against it again. Like, this is the very important part because we want to make sure it fits properly. I mean, that's the goal, to make sure it fits properly. We got our, I haven't opened that up yet, but we got this here. All right, it's looking like we have enough space for the hat, for the crown of the hat. And yeah. And then we could just pull that down like that, because we don't want to have, we don't have enough space for another row because it'll be too big. And then, like I said, it's stretchy, so you'll be fine when it comes to that. Now, what I want to do next, before we work on the brim and bring the brim out, what I want to work on next is deconstructing the actual hat. Now, if you're working with, if you're working with a 5950 or 4950, I don't know what these things are called, 4950, 5950, then you have quite a few things that you need to think about if you want to take off your hat and put on the sides of your crochet hat. Now, some people take this off here, which I was thinking about it this time, but I probably won't, because this will leave a hole in your hat. So I think it's important to understand how these hats are constructed to know what you should do on the hat to, you know, deconstruct it. It also has this on the side of it, another emblem that I've seen people take off of the hats. But again, I personally would not, because it will leave a hole in the hat. And I really don't like that. You know what I mean? Because we're using an X-Acto knife. That's one of the tools that we'll be needing for this hat. When I decided to do this tutorial, I decided to show you everything that goes into constructing the crochet ball cap. So, and that includes using tools like, sorry about that, the X-Acto knife. Okay, so what we will be doing and what we will be using is, or taking off of the hat, is the P. We're taking the P off, and we're going to take it off all around the stitching. All around the stitching. That's how we're going to do it. So I'm going to show y'all. Y'all have to be real careful, because you don't want to mess the hat up. You know what I mean? Because you can't put it back. Now, like I said, it's important to understand how these hats are constructed to know what you're going to do with it. So I just took this off. Take this out. So as you can see, there was this netting material under the hat. I mean, it serves as a barrier for me, and it's kind of hard. So it's something that I don't mind taking the P off, because the P sits behind it. So there's still hat back here. You know what I'm saying? You can't see it. Whereas this is material. So the emblem here and the emblem that's over here is just the hat material. And I don't want to ruin the hat like that. So I'm not doing that. Even though once the crochet is on it, they're not getting it off, because we also will be using adhesive to make sure that it stays. They're not going to tell you that, but I will tell you that. All right, so what we're going to do now is start to kind of like outline the P, but you have to be, like, I push this in. You have to be as careful as possible, and you don't want to bust through the netting part of it. So what I do is, and don't get close to the thread that you pop the seams of the thread, because it'll look ratty. You don't want that. So just kind of, you know, a very sharp X-Acto knife. Just kind of work your way around like that. And just make sure you're up there that way. And then work your way down the hat like that. Like that. Don't press too forward to the other side, because like I said, we want the netting in the back. And I get very, very close. Very, very close. Get very close, but not too close that you're popping the seams. You don't want to pop the seams of the P. On with your hat, and then you'll see where you missed. So just pull that up and just pull that up, and yeah, just work your way back around it. Okay, lift that up. We doing it. I know it's nerve-wracking because you don't want to tear something up, but essentially we're making it beautiful. So, you know, you got to trust yourself, trust your instincts, and get it done. Get it done, get it done. And then it's a $40 hat. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you know, I can't say that because you still don't want to mess it up. But see, look at there. It's coming off. Bam. There we go. So, we got the P off. We're going to leave this inside because once that's on top of our hat, it's just going to make it look better. It ain't, you know. Well, maybe I won't. Maybe I'll take it out. Let's take it out. Let's take it out. But you see now what it looks like up under the hat. This is what it looks like. You know what I'm saying? We traced around the P. So, now we're going to get even more deconstructive and just pop that X-Acto knife right in there and just work your way around by not getting close to the stitches, because we do want our crochet to show through. So yeah, we got to get this out of here, y'all. I was gonna say leave it, but I think we should get it out of there. And then there's that. Okay, bam. So we got that. And then I'll just, you see how the strings are right there? I just, like, these little frayways or whatever, I'll just take my scissors and try to get as close as I can and kind of like just get those out of there or whatever. And they'll come right out. I don't know what kind of scissors you got, but maybe invest in these because I really like them. Ever since I started using them, they just been like my favorite scissors to use. I'm not even gonna lie. I bought a set from Amazon. They were horrible. They were like this, but they just wasn't doing it. I don't know if they wasn't sharp enough or what. And then these came in a kit that I had. I had like a crochet kit. And I'm like, oh, these are awesome. And they work perfectly fine. So I just get close enough to like pull the frayways out, because we want our work to be clean, you know. You know, you get an up-close look on it, you see how clean it is, and you know what I mean? And it's worth every penny. Every penny. So, yeah, and just do the outside if you want, and like clean it up a little bit so it don't be all ratty looking. And maybe that's just my obsessive compulsive part of me. I don't want to claim I'm OCD, but I think I kind of am a little bit with stuff like this. Some stuff I'm not, but with this, I'm like on point. So this, okay, there we go. We got a couple more little pieces, but however, we got that out with no mistakes. We did really, really good, so. Like I said, just take your time. Trace around the city emblem on your hat if you have one. You might not have one. You might have the hat from Hobby Lobby, which they don't have, which you know you'll have to work up if you're a person that likes to put ears and bear ears or bunny ears on your hats or whatever like that. And then you don't have emblems, like, you know what I mean? So that could work fine. But like I said, I'm not touching this. I really thought about it, but I think it'll mess up my hat. I don't want no hole in my hat. I don't want no holes in my hat. So that's totally up to you. Now, we got the pee off. We're also taking this off because I think that adds a good brand new finishing touch. The sticker. I mean, if I could get it up here. It adds a good finishing touch to our hat once we are done. So I'll just set that to the side. Like, and there's that. So now we could take this stitch marker out now, which I've had in for the duration of the time. I'm going to take that out. And we're going to just we're going to, here, we could cut this off now because we can end this round and put this to the side. We can actually end our round and then just cutting that off. And then we'll tuck that in a little bit. But for now, let's fit it over our hat again. Let's fit this over our hat again. Now, you remember the top, we left the top open. So we kind of want to go over it. Like, here, let's pull that through so that we're able to pull it once we get it on there. And then we got the hole here. And kind of just, you know, measure it. Well, not measure it, but kind of like tuck it in there a little bit. Tuck it in there, tuck it in there, tuck it in there. And so we have it around the top of the hat. Because if you were to just close it at the top, it would have a lump in it. You don't want a lump in your hat. It looks a mess. Excuse me, to me. That's just my feelings on it. You might like it. I personally do not. So I just take this like this. And like I had my woman here last time. She helped me but close it. But you can kind of do it by yourself. And kind of just tuck the stitches in. Like if you have a stitch like this, kind of like just tuck it down in there or whatever. And then take that, like again, and then kind of like pull it, making sure it's tight around your hat. Now, bam, we are working with something. And later on, we'll come back to that. And we will, you know, we'll tuck it. We'll tuck that little part in or whatever and get that. So I kind of want to put this on the last one. Or the last couple to where it isn't cinched, you know, in any way. It's kind of like just comfortable. Just kind of put it on like the last couple, last four or whatever, so that it's comfortable and it's not like that. And then just pull it down. Pull it down, pull it down, pull it down, pull it down, pull it down. All right. Fit it in there good. Fit it in there good. See, we got the top on there pretty good. Okay. Now, this is the part where I kind of do want that emblem on there, but I can't see myself doing it. But get your clips, the clips that we had from the beginning, and just take these and just bring it all the way down to the ends of your hat, to the very rim of your hat. And then you see that here, pull that there. Like that, and we should have enough room. We don't have to stretch it over the hat. Just a nice relaxed fit. And then just pull that out. put your clips on there like that. Just make sure they're all set. And all set and ready to go. Alright, there's that. Okay. And just put your clips there. And then put your clips there. Now what we will be doing is using adhesive. We will be using the adhesive. So see how your hat's down and on there? Here, let me use another clip. Excuse me, y'all. I got a bunch of stuff back here that I need on the regular as I'm crocheting or doing whatever I'm doing. All right, so I'm gonna put another clip here, but it's a nice relaxed crochet fit over the hat. You don't want to have to pull it and tighten it and all that stuff. You want it to fit in there pretty good. You want just enough stitches that it fits over the hat perfectly fine. You see it comes all the way down to the brim of the hat. If you need to tug it a little bit, just, you know, give it a little tug. But that, for the most part, is the work up of your cap. So you see it's flawless. It's flawless. Okay. Now that we have that, we should get into the adhesive part of it. Now you want to be able to, I'm gonna put this back in my cap later on. You want to be able to, for it to stay down on the ends like this. You want that to stay. So, you know, you don't want it to come up. So you're going to use adhesive. So we're going to do one side at a time. We're going to do one side at a time. I'll start with this side. And you don't want to overdo it and use too much, but you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So like I said, the first time I used this glue, it's not a good glue to use because it has a very, very strong smell. And you don't want to smell that if it's on your head. It's like strong. But it's fabric glue as well. You know what I mean? So it kind of fooled me. But this one does not super fabric tack. So I'm going to go ahead and open that. So let me get back to y'all on that. All right, so it comes out fairly quickly. So you want to be very quick about it. Now, just all you need is a dab. So I like to put it down on the edge right here. Just need enough, not too much. Put it down to the side. And then just lay it flat on your hat. Get it all the way down to the corner. And bam, lay it like that. And then take your clip, put your clip on, make sure it stays. And that's what you want to do. So there's that. And then just do that to the other side. Do that to the other side. Like I said, there's no strong odor that comes up out of here. It keeps your hat stable and steady, and you don't need much, just a little bit for your sides. You might want to put some right here or right here. It's totally up to you, but just to make sure that the crochet covers your hat. Excuse me, I got a little stuff on my hat, but anyway, I'll get it off later. And then let's work the other side. So take that off, and then just along the line, the seams right here, all the way to the end, maybe work a little bit right here. You don't need much. All right, you do not need much. And then just lay it down gently. Lay it down gently. This might be lay it down gently and lay it all flat. Okay, and then just, like I said, use your clips. Your clips are going to hold it in place. Now, if you want to, which I kind of do, I'm going to put a little down in here, down in there, just to keep it. Oh, I don't want to have a mess all over the place. Yeah, make sure, because you don't want a mess. And just make sure it lays flat like that. And don't come through your hat. All right. So I laid it there. You don't want it to come through the other side. So that's why you do not need that much, just enough to lay flat on your head, on your hat. And if you get a little bit on your yarn, you could just, you know, fray it with the scissors and it'll get back to normal. You won't be able to see it. And then just, like I said, I didn't use that. I didn't do that part because I don't want it to be a hole in my hat. So I'm going to put that on top of it. Okay, let's pull that off. And, yep, lay it flat. Let's lay it flat on there, like that. That's all you got to do. And then, let's put our clips now on that. So, it stays and it's in place. So now that's the foundation of that part of our hat. That's what we needed. So we got that, that's tight on there. Now let's move on to the brim. Okay, now we're going to start working the brim of our hat. So we're going to be working decreases as well into the brim if we need them, because the last time I did this I didn't need them, but we just may. And then don't be discouraged. You might get a little string of glue or something on here, but like I said, we're working on the brim, so you're not even going to be able to see that. So this is what it looks like. It's very neat. It's very nice. All right, so what we'll be doing next is picking up our 5mm hook that we set aside earlier before we started it, and then we're going to start from the right to the left. And just, normally I would use a stitch marker, but I really don't need it. So I'm going to use this. This is going to start my brim. I'm going to just put my needle, insert my needle inside of there, pull it through, and just, I like to tie it on. Tie it on. However you like to do it is totally up to you, but I tie it on the brim. And then I'll just work, or on the side to start the brim. And then I'll just work up a chain. Pull it through and work up a chain. It's a little awkward. One, chain two. Let me move this down a little bit. And then you'll be working across your brim. So you'll just be working double crochet stitches at the bottom of your brim, like that. So let me move that to the side. And if you need to lift it up, that's totally fine, because you didn't put any adhesive on that side, so it's totally fine. You still got your clips in and everything like that. So just work your double crochet stitches all the way across. It's a little awkward, like I said, but it works itself out. Just trust the process. Trust the process. And I'm going to show y'all how to work this all the way across. Oh, we got a little bit of glue debris on there. it was important to me to show y'all the reel from the beginning to the end, because I haven't seen a video that shows you everything and how to do everything, so you don't have questions on how to finish your hat off. You want, you know, you want to be able to finish your hat. So I understand. All right. And there's, if you had different colors, you would have just added a different color on to the end of your hat. Mine is just all burgundy with the gold emblem on it, P. So I just kept it that way. I wanted to keep it the same. I didn't want to add anything else to it, because I want to, I'm keeping it simple. I just want to keep it simple for the tutorial's sake. And then just keep working your double crochets until you get to the end here. And that should be the last, oh, my bad, sorry. That should be the last stitch there. Let me put this back over here. You'll just tuck those in. You'll tuck all your strings in later. And, you know what I mean? So you don't worry about that. That came out, so let's get it back in there. And this will be the last stitch. Okay, and then you'll just chain. And then work your way back across your brim. So it's kind of difficult to do as far as holding it, but you get used to it. I just chose to use a bigger size hook because it works up faster. It works the brim up faster. And like I said, you could use whatever size hook you want to. Obviously, if you use a smaller size hook, you'll have more rows. It'll be a lot tighter. You won't see any of the hat under. And if that's your preference, if that's what you want to do, then so be it. Like, have fun with it. Make sure you try new stuff, and just, you know, just play around with it, and don't feel bad about it. Just do what you want to do. But this is just how I like to do it. All right. Just work it back across. Now, like I said, we may work some decreases into the brim, but I'm thinking that we might not have to. Excuse me. Hold on, babe.
Hey, what's the phone number?
Okay, I apologize. We're back. So, we was working the last row. I mean, not the last row, but the row before this one. Okay. And then just keep working back and forth. Now, what I like to do, since instead of working a decrease, I just skip this chain, this stitch here, and then go into the second stitch. So it's kind of like working a decrease, but just one instead of two, because it'll bring your brim in. It'll bring your brim in, because as your brim gets to the end of, as you get to the end of your brim, you know, it gets slimmer, so. Excuse the noise, it's from the clips rubbing up against my table. So just keep working back and forth, and I'll meet you when you get to the end. And then we'll talk about if we're going to pull it over the brim or not, which I like to do. Okay, so I'll be back. So now we're at the last row of the brim for the top part. So I'm gonna just, I already crocheted up. Chained up too. So just work your way back. Now this was worked with minimal decrease. I only skipped one chain. I didn't skip two like you would normally do in a regular decrease, but I worked it up for what works for me. And I encourage you to do the same. So this is the last stitch here. Alright, so I'm gonna just chain two because I'm working behind it. So this is where everything gets a little tricky. This is where it gets a little bit tricky because if you want to have your brim go over, you got to keep working it around, which I'm gonna do because I want my brim to go up under here. And then I'll show you how to close it once we get there. But yeah, that's how I want my brim to work. But this is what it should look like. This is what your hat should look like at this part of the video. You see how it's nice and neat. And this is where we're going to add the P. I'll get to that point later. But for now, I'm going to show you how to keep adding the brim because I like mine to come under and go from there. All right, so I've already chained two. You can kind of see how it's already turning over the front part of the brim. So just keep working it back. Just keep working it back. And I'll meet you when I'm done with this round. Okay. So we chained, and then we're gonna work it back. So, oh, my bad. We're gonna work it into the first chain. The first stitch, sorry about that. Oh, what's happening here? Let's see. Okay, we didn't go under both stitches. All right. Like I said, don't think you're doing something wrong because it's totally up to you how you work up your work. I just wanted to show you how to get it started, and I'm gonna show you how to finish. And this is totally optional. This is totally up to you. If you wanted to just adhesive down the front of the cap because you don't want to have the brim crochet covered, that's totally up to you. And I'm gonna keep stressing that because it's your hat. It is your hat. Okay. Still using the 5mm crochet hook. Okay. Now you see it's pulling back over the hat. So I'm going to bring it up like that and just continue to bring it up. Just continue to bring it up like that. Because on the end, we're going to use a slip stitch method on each side and close it. So don't worry about that. So just chain up 2, 1, 2, My needle keeps slipping out. I don't know. I got butterfingers today. And then work this back. It's a little difficult. Like, you see how the hat's moving and doing all this extra stuff, trying to get up under it. So, but just keep working it. And I'll meet you when I'm done. So when I'll show you how to do the slip stitches. So you got an idea of how we're working this up. Okay, be back. All right, now I've started to weave in my sides. I don't want it to go up that far anymore. I changed my mind. So I'm just going to use my darning needle. You close it off and knot it at the end, and then you start to weave it around just like this. Just like so. Ain't that what they say? I always wanted to say that. Just like so. It's funny. Oh, keep getting caught on my clips, but like that. You know, you don't want it to look funny on your side, so make sure you check and don't do it too tight so it don't look a mess. You want it to look nice and neat. And then just work this one. Oh, let me see. Follow your stitches. Okay, now I'll just do one more for good old time's sake, and then I'll just bring it back through all the stitches here. Just bring it back through here. So that way. Alright, now it's closed off. So you'll want to just pull it into the last one and then knot it like that. And there's that. And then pull it through again. And then knot it. Alright, so and then just cut that off. And then you can weave that in later. And then now we're going to do the other side the same way. And then you just want to make sure it's not lifted up here, so it don't have no big gap or anything like that. And it doesn't. It doesn't. It's like your regular hat. Okay. There we go. See? Your hat. Constructed. So now let's put this over. And then it just helps it stay to the end, to the edges of your brim. That's all it really does. And then I started from this way, so I'm going to start from this way again. And just put it in this way. And then you can tie on. You could tie on. It helps it weave in the ends later. Tie on the sides. Just put it in the first stitch. That's just the first stitch. Tie on. And then I'm gonna work this way. And then just weave in the stitch, the ends later. There we go. I just think it gives a cleaner look. You could loosen yours up, but I like mine like this. Cause you see how it's a little web right here, but it'll wear down. It'll wear itself down. I love how this turned out. It turned out wonderful. It really, really did. Okay. And then just, that's your last, let me see. Yeah, that's your last one. And then just work it back up through, under the stitches. Like that. Work it back up through like that. And then just, let's see where I can pull it through here. I don't want to tie that off. And then just Pull it like that. Now you're all done. You are done with the brim. You're done with the sides. Now you just want to weave this in. Make sure you give it one more good tug. Let's do that because this bothers me. Let's give it one good tug. All right. Work it through. And then just put it up under your stitches. Put it up under your stitches. Pull it out through so it can roll neat. And then I like to work it back through, up and over like that. Like back through, up and over. Look, wait a minute. Back through, up, over, under, over. So you can tuck it and you won't see it. And then you could just work it down the back. I like to do it a couple times to make sure that it's hidden well. Just however way you want, just weave it through. Yeah. Oh, wait. I don't like that. Yep, I don't like that. Just weave it through that way, and then the back. Go back through that way and that way. All right, so clip that. Now you can't see nothing up there. Okay. And then I'm just going to go through and weave in all my ends, and I will see you when I get done. Okay. So now that we have all our ends weaved in, you see it's clean. You see there's nothing showing or whatever. I still got my clips on there so I could, you know, keep it tight for the adhesive that we used earlier. We are going to put our emblem back on. But before we do this, we have to make the seams in the hat. So we're not actually making seams, we're going to make it look like seams. And by doing that, we have to make 6 chains. So if you don't know how to make a chain, I would suggest that you go back and look at YouTube videos that'll show you how to do a chain. But if you're crocheting and you feel like you can make this hat and you're on this video, you obviously think, or maybe not, but you know what you should know how to make a chain. Okay, so 1, 12. I think it was like 21, 13, 14, 15. Alright. This is just so we can make it look like the hat has a seam on it. That should be enough. So you'll just want to make 6 of these. So when I get done with my 6, I'll be back. Okay, so we're at the stage where we're adding the seams onto our hats. I just took it upon myself to go ahead and add my seams, and I left one so that I can show you guys how to do it. So as we already, I made my chains. So you'll take your darning needle, and you gotta thread it, of course. It's kind of hard to do sometimes. Gets on my nerves. Wait a minute. If I can get it in here. Sometimes you might have to cut it because the yarn's so big. It opens up, so you gotta cut it so it can be clean. And then just twist it really tight, like that. Twist, twist, twist. It's acting up now. I don't want to go in there all of a sudden. Okay, so we got some in there. Let's hope it goes all the way through. Okay, there we go. Alright, so we got it threaded. And then just like a 5950 hat, the seams, there's 6 seams down each. And if you need, for reference, like if you don't remember where it's at or you don't trust yourself, just turn the hat over, and the seams are directly on the inside of the hat, so you'll be able to see. Like I said in the beginning, you would want to know how the hat is constructed so that you're able to build on top of it. That's very, very important. All right. So I want to make sure it's right where it needs to be so that it looks flawless. Okay. So I'm gonna keep going back. And then you got your clips. So if you can't remember, also you could just use your clips to where it would be at, where you would assume it would be at. And then since I already did 5 of them, I kind of got an idea where mine should go. So let me see. I'm gonna turn my hat so that I can see where my line fits. Excuse me, I'm sorry, y'all. Just a little piglet. All right. I'll make sure it's even, because sometimes that could throw you off. All right, let's do that. Now let me look up under. Okay, it's perfect. That's right where it should be. So, take your needle, pull it out, and just stick it within the seam of the top of the hat. I'm not sure what that's called actually, but you make sure that you put it, just weave it through so you can tighten it. Just how we did our ends, how we weaved our ends in. You'll do that the same way. So we got the top part in, and you just want to tighten it. Believe me, you're not going to even see, like, I know it seems like it's going across or seam, but you're not even going to be able to see it. You can't even tell it's there. Once I push this through here, I like to push it through my seam so that way I can just tighten it where it's supposed to go. See? Just like that. And then you'll just finish weaving it through, in and out, in and out. You don't have to tie any knots or do anything like that because you just don't want it to look bulky on top of your hat. You don't want it to look a mess. You want it to look nice. Alright, and then just clip it. It'll stay. Just trust it. It'll stay. Here's my scissors right here. Alright, so there's that. See? And then you'll just follow it down. Let me check and make sure that it's right there. Alright. Weaving the last part. We're almost done, y'all. Y'all made it to the end, and y'all made a perfect crochet fitted hat. So you can wear, or you can do whatever you want to do with it. Remember just to have fun with it. It's your hat. You have to wear it, or whomever you're making it for. So don't forget to have fun with it. It's crochet after all. And let me snip this. Now the next tutorial, I'll show y'all how to do the bunny ears or whatever on it. The bunny ear, the bear ears that people like to wear on top of their hat. Okay, I got it. I gotta twist it because it kind of twisted up a little bit. Alright, let me check for reference again, just to make sure I'm right. Okay. And just weave it in and out, just like we did the top. Oh, it kind of got stuck on there. Yeah, I didn't want to show you. That would have made the video too long, so I just went ahead and did it myself and said I'll show y'all how to do the last one. There's no real rhyme or order how to do this. Just make sure it's tight, make sure it's in there, and it's seamless. Wait a minute, that thing came out. Oh, we gotta weave this back in. I didn't mean for that to happen, but it happens. Alright, let's put that in there without it coming out again. Alright, so we'll just snip that. Okay, so we are done weaving in our ends. You can just look at your hat and make sure it doesn't need any cleaning up. If it does, then make sure you do that accordingly. But this is what it looks like. I'll go ahead and take all the clips off because we don't need these anymore. And you see you didn't need that much adhesive because you made your hat big enough that it would lay comfortably on top of the hat. You know what I'm saying? And the hat is not bent up or any of that inside. So that's what you want. Alright, so there's that. Now we're going to add the P, and then it's over. Alright, so your fabric tack, pull your glue out. I prefer this one. Again, do not get this one because it's way too strong. The smell is way too strong. You can't take it if that was on your head. So yeah, don't get that one. I made a mistake the first time. Alright, I'm gonna clean this up a little bit. Like, again, this is my first tutorial, so bear with me. I hope I did great. And let me know in the comments. And let me know what else would you want me to do a tutorial on. And just put a little bit. You don't need that much. Just enough to cover it. I have brushes, but I'm going to use my fingers right now because I don't feel like getting it. Because you don't want it to protrude out of the sides. You know what I mean? So it could be looking like a mess. You don't want that. I'm big on stuff not looking messy as hell. Except my apartment right now. It looks a mess. My baby keeps telling me. Okay, wait. whatever. You got to be as accurate as possible. So that is the middle of the hat. And just drop it on there, lay it on there, and push it in. Just like that. You can hold it for a little bit. It dries really, really fast, so I won't worry about that. And just hold it, hold it, hold it. You can fan it if you want. Make sure it stays on. And then there's that. And then remember our sticker that we took off at the beginning? You'll want to lay that back on to the front of your hat. And that is your finished product. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Again, let me know what you think about it. If you want me to do more, what you want me to do. Until next time, toodles.